everybody, welcome and happy Thursday. Today our lesson is lesson 22, session 2. Tomorrow is our review lesson, and then Monday is the actual quiz. Now this lesson today we are still looking at equivalent fractions. Yesterday we more so looked at equivalent fractions that dealt with models, looking at shapes. Today we more so focus on our number lines, and we did look at a few fraction bars as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on in because I don't want to keep you long. All right, so homework today started on page 489. So let's look at number 1. It says, does each model show equivalent fractions? So these are the fraction bars I was telling you about that we worked with. I tried to make the kids think of it as a shape. I'm like, this is a rectangle that has been broken up into 2 parts, and then the unit fraction is put inside of each part. Now, unit fraction is our vocabulary word from last week. It is a fraction that has 1 in the numerator. So these are unit fractions, the 1/2 and the 1/8. So they want to know if it's equivalent. And how do we tell if it's equivalent? If the 1/2 where it stops, the whole shaded part for the 1/2, it needs to be the same for the 1/8. They have to be directly stopping the same spot. And they do. So the same amount is shaded on both fraction bars. So this would be a yes. This is equivalent. They are equal. They are the same size. Now, let's go to the shape. Here's a circle. Here's a circle. Same size. So far they're good. Next thing I notice is for this one, I have 2 parts and one of them is shaded in. That represents my 1/2. Over here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts and 2 are shaded in. So this represents the 2/6. Now they want to know if this is equal. Well, when I look at it, this is not equal because half of this is shaded in and this one only has a smaller piece shaded in. So they are not equivalent. They are not equal. So this would be a no. Okay, and most of the kids did their homework in class, but I just want to go ahead and make a video so they can check what they did in class, because I did check some of their homework, and also for my people who are not here today to understand what we did today. So let's go ahead and go to the next page, which is going to be page 490, number 2. Okay, so this is number 2. It's the number line that I was telling you guys about. So it says, use the number lines to identify equivalent fractions in problems 2 and 3. And basically, when you're looking at a number line, you're looking at fractions that fall directly underneath each other. That would tell you it's equivalent because they're on the same spot on that number line. So we don't even have to label the number line. All we have to do is just go ahead and see which fractions those are. So I taught my kids a little trick in class. I told them if you circle it, then it kind of makes it stand out. So you already know what you're looking at. Because I can see that 1/3 and 2/6, they are directly underneath or above each other. And then I have 2/3 and 4/6. 2/3 is directly above 4/6. And then I have 3/3 and 6/6. Those are directly above each other or underneath, however way you want to look at it. Now, all we have to do now is look to see which fractions they're asking us about. So if I look at 2/6, well, 2/6 is here. When I look directly above 2/6, the fraction that shares the same point on the number line is actually 1/3. So 2/6 is equivalent to 1/3. Now, let's go to number 3. Number 3, they gave me 2/3. So when I go to 2/3 on my number line, I go directly underneath, and the fraction that shares that same point is 4/6. So 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. Okay, that is 2 and 3. Let's go ahead and go to 4. 4 says, look at the fractions shown below. Look at the fractions shown by the shaded hexagons. Write equivalent fractions for the shaded parts. Okay, no problem. So let's look at our first hexagon here that they're telling us about. Let's see how how many equal parts we have, because remember, equal parts tells us our denominator, and we're going to use this first setup for the fraction for the first shape. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my denominator is going to be 6. All right. Let's go to our numerator. That's going to be how much is shaded. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces or 4 parts that are shaded. So my numerator is 4. So 4 out of 6 are 4/6. Now we're going to go to our second fraction setup, and we're going to look at this piece right here. So when I count how many parts I have altogether, I have 1, 2, 3. So my denominator for that one is going to be 3. Now I'm going to count my shaded parts. There are 1, 2 of them, so 2 is my numerator. So now I know that 4/6 is equivalent or equal to 2/3. Okay, that is it for number 4. Let's move on to number 5, and I believe number 5 is the last one. It is. Okay, so it was a short lesson, so it's short homework. All right, so 5 says shade 6/8 of rectangle A. So on this rectangle, I'm going to shade in 6/8. Then shade rectangle B to show a fraction equivalent to 6/8. So whatever this is, I'm going to shade rectangle B to make it equivalent. So let's start with A. They want me to go ahead and shade in 6/8. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 8 total parts. That's why we have an 8 in our denominator. And now we have to do the 6 parts shaded in. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that in. So this is 2 that I've shaded in. And then I'm going to shade in another 2. Okay, that makes 4. And then I'm going to shade in another 2. Okay, that makes 6. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6, 8. 6 out of 8 shaded in. Now when I go to B, I want to shade in the same amount. So I'm going to shade all the way down to the bottom and leave 1 part left because that's what I left here. So I have 2 parts because it's split up, but you get the idea. So I'm going to shade in as much as I've done on rectangle A, because we have to make it equivalent or equal.
If everyone can make their way to the AI lab, we can begin the meeting. If everyone can make their way to the AI lab, we can begin the meeting.
Okay, so I've shaded it in. So they want to know what fraction is equivalent. Write the equivalent fraction. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So my denominator is going to be 4. And my numerator, I have 1, 2, 3 that I've shaded in. So 3/4 would be the equivalent fraction to the 6/8. And that is it for today. If you have any questions, you can always send me a message on PBIS, or you can drop your questions in the comments. I'm always looking, so if you need to ask me something, I'll be more than welcome to answer it. I will see you guys on next week. I believe it's going to be on Tuesday next week because tomorrow's review day. There's no homework, and then Monday is our quiz. There's no homework on that day. So we'll start up again on Tuesday when we go into lesson 23. That is it. Have a great rest of your weekend and see you on next week. Bye.